So you're making a doll and you've spent ages matching up the fabric to create those cute stripy legs, but when you come to turn the pieces, every stripe is mismatched. So what's going on? Is a gremlin in your sewing machine moving the fabric the moment your back's turned? When I started learning to make dolls around 15 years ago, matching up stripes was something that caused a lot of frustration. So in the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to show you how to make sure even the tiniest stripes are matched up perfectly. I most often use striped fabric for my doll's limbs, so I tend to place the template on the fold so I just have a single seam down the inside of the limb. This also makes it much easier to match up the stripes. I fold the fabric a little wider than the pieces I'm sewing. I don't want to create too much waste, but the wider the fold, the more stable the fabric will be and the less room for error. I'd rather waste a small strip of fabric along the edge than have to scrap all the pieces after sewing them and start again. I match it up along the edge a little at a time using the quilting iron to lock the fabric into the right position. I should really use an ironing mat for this, but the iron's not too hot, so I think my cutting mat can take it. With this fabric you can see the print from the wrong side, so you can get it in the right position without too much trouble. If you're using a darker or thicker fabric and you can't see the print from the back, you can iron back a strip along the edge to make it easier to see where the stripes are. Once I'm happy with the placement, I'll put a few pins in to hold the fabric together while I draw around the template for the leg pieces. If it looks like the stripes are slipping out of alignment, you can go back and adjust this a little until you're happy with how they're matched up all the way along the edge. Don't assume the stripes are aligned with the weave of the fabric. If they're printed, they're usually not. I'm sure this is not the only way to match stripes up. Everyone will have their own way of doing it, but this is the way I've found works for me 99% of the time. Occasionally you'll get a piece of fabric that seems impossible to line up. This can be because there's a fault in the printing, or it can be because it's a bit stretched out of shape. You can try washing the fabric to reshape it, but for pieces this small, I often find you can reshape it just with a steam iron. If you're making a doll that's going to be washable though, I'd suggest washing all the fabric before you use it. Once I've got the sewing line marked out, I adjust the pins so they're not going to get in the way while I cut the pieces out, double checking as I go that the stripes are all still lined up. If you're finding this video helpful, by the way, please don't forget to hit the like button and let me know. If you have your own tips for matching up pattern fabric, please do feel free to leave a comment and we can all help each other out. Okay, now I'm going to roughly cut these out just to make it a bit easier to manoeuvre them on the sewing machine. Notice I don't cut right on the seam allowance at this point. I don't want the fabric stretching and distorting, so I'll sew along the pencil line, then I'll trim the seams afterwards, leaving around a 4mm allowance and using pinking shears around the curves where needed. This doll is going to be a rat, so I'm making a striped tail with a pipe cleaner. I don't have a template for this bit, so I'm just going to match up the stripes the same way and then I'll eyeball it. So I've sewn all the pieces and we can have a look and see if the stripes have stayed in place. That looks pretty good. Time to turn and stuff them. That's matched up really well. I'm happy with that. There's still quite a lot of work to do on this doll, which I'll be making another video about, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. If you're watching this in the future, I'll link to that video on screen now. Otherwise, I'll put another video there that I think you might like, and I'll see you next time. Bye!